looking. I'm looking. I don't see our unofficial mascot anywhere. You know where she probably is? She's probably out in the hall in her bed out there. I don't know if I can get her to come in or not. She's a cat. She might ignore me, but here we go. Yep, she's going to ignore me. So I don't think our mascot is going to show up for the early part of our video. Maybe later. Again. So we are doing this at a different time than usual. It is after midnight. Everybody in the house is asleep, which means I'm getting to hear the dulcet tones of my husband snoring, sleeping downstairs. I love him, but you know, hopefully it doesn't get too loud and bother you. He's loud, but at any rate, love him dearly. He's loud. He's a loud snorer. At any rate, it's been a very, I don't want to say interesting because in all honesty, it wasn't that interesting. But I guess kind of a different week for us in a way. Well, I guess not that either. Things happened. They weren't dramatic or huge or big or anything like that, but they happened. And, I mean, most of them were little things. But like one of the little things, my cat waking me up at 15 times a night. I love her. I love her. I really do. But she's a wild baby. She really is. And this whole past week, she has been waking me up at 7:30 in the morning. And I usually have to throw her out, and then I can sleep till about 9:30. I mean, you know, lock her out of my room so I can sleep some more. But then she starts digging at the door and crying. Around 9:30, I have to let her in. She's crazy. I love her desperately. But seriously, I wish she would just let me sleep. It is too much. The "you won't sleep, mom" thing, just, I need it to not, I need it to stop. That's what I need. I need it to stop. And she does this quite frequently, actually, where she has to wake me up. And sometimes she will continue to wake me up. And here's the thing about me and my sleep. The more times you wake me up, the later I end up sleeping in. Because I will do what I can to get my sleep. But that was just the beginning of things. I actually got through my week just pretty much fine for the most part. Yes, I still have to do some work up here. We're not doing it today. You all, I'm sure, tired of green. Tired of the green. But yeah, so that's the way my sleep works. Where did I just go? Is that I will just keep going back to sleep until the body says, okay, you've gotten enough sleep. And the more you wake me up, the harder it is for me to, you know, get the sleep. This is a little brighter than I thought it was. We're going to try a little bit of this on the bottom edge. See what happens. Having to be careful. In fact, I see it a little bit there. Because it's very easy to make the colors here look dirty rather than like they're blending. Which is what I'm aiming for, is a blend. A blending. At any rate, so she kept waking me up one night. I guess it was Wednesday night. And then Thursday, we had been told a storm was coming. Thursday night, I went ahead and I went to bed as usual, and so did she. She sleeps in a, usually, apparently not tonight, but usually she will sleep in a, we have a cat tree with a little square-ish, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, folks. But it has a squarish like box that the kitties can sleep in. So she will sleep in that. And then I'm going up a little too high for this orange. But when I get it where I want it to be, I'll go over more pink. Anyway. And so she was sleeping in that. And we had been warned that a snowstorm was coming in. I don't think this cat has ever seen a snowstorm. I don't think we had one last year. If we had any snow at all, it was very light and gone very quickly. So we knew a storm was supposed to be coming Thursday night to Friday, or it was supposed to be here by Friday. Friday night, she was actually, Thursday night, going into Friday, she was actually in a really decent, like, sleep. And then, somewhere around, I don't even know what time it was. It was like early in the morning. It was, well, technically late at night because it wasn't close to like 7 or anything. But it was early enough. I want to say it was 1 or 2. I'm not sure. All of a sudden, she pops up out of the box. And she's looking out the window. She's standing on the ledge, and she's looking out the window. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, like that. Anyway, she's staring out the window from the box for a little bit. She's just staring. She's not moving. She's not doing anything. She's not really seeming to freak out or anything. Just staring out the window. Or at the window, because she's on the box, and the opening of the box is towards the bed and not really towards the window. So she's on the ledge and looking around. At any rate. And then after a few minutes, she gets up, goes across, and gets on top of the dresser, which is under the window. And she's staring out the window. So I go to the window, and I don't see anything initially. So I'm looking at her going, are you okay? And she kind of meows at me and just keeps staring out the window. And then her head kind of goes down a little bit. And ears drop. So I go look again. We're starting to get not quite snow, but sort of a, not ice, but I guess kind of a slush that's on that borderline of snow. It's a real wet snow, we'll put it that way. So it doesn't look like snowflakes, but it's a real wet snow. And she is just watching it come down. And it's just kind of funny to watch her watching this come down. And she's just staring out the window, and she's doing that thing that cats do when they see a bunch of different things, like if they see a bunch of different birds and they're orienting to the different birds at different times. So her head is going, "Oop, oop, 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 oop." She's looking all over the place. She spent the next couple of hours being a freak about it. She had never seen it before. She made it clear that she wasn't sure what the hell was going on, and she wasn't. I don't know. It was very interesting. And then she spent most of the next day freaking out about it. I've got some stuff up in my TikTok. Got one thing up in my TikTok, I guess. And I think I put up some other stuff about her looking out at the snow and the slush, and she just kept freaking out about it. It was just kind of funny. Apparently, at some point, when I finally got some sleep because she was being such a freak about the whole thing, apparently at one point she my husband took her and put her out in the snow on our back porch, and you gotta understand, that cat, she always wants to be out on the porch with Daddy when he's smoking his cigarettes and watching his TV and whatnot. And he put her out on that porch, and she said, "Nope, I'm out of here," and came running in the house, apparently. Just completely freaking out about the snow. And I still find it kind of funny, even though I didn't see it. But yeah, she just was like, "This, no, I'm noping out of here." I'm just, no. And she spent the day just staring at the snow out the window, occasionally going to sleep. That was the wrong color to pick up. Okay, so this does better with the brighter colors. Otherwise, its oranges start to look kind of dirty, except for this one. I liked how that one looked. So yeah, Atlanta got about, 3 or 4 inches. My son took some pictures. You'll find those up on Bluesky. Domino. I'm Domino over there. I'm Domino just about everywhere. You can probably find old accounts of me being Domino places. But my husband, told my son to go out and take some pictures. So he went out and took some pictures. And yeah, that was lots of snow. Most of Atlanta was closed because of the snow on Friday. My daughter went in briefly, and she'd been there maybe 20 minutes, and they sent her home, thankfully, which is what they should have done. They shouldn't have even called them in, honestly. Atlanta doesn't do anything when it snows. I mean, they're not. They're one of those places that are not prone to a lot of snow. So, so for them, 3 inches is a bit much. I remember early when we first moved out here. Now, you got to understand some history here real quick. Um, I moved around a lot when I was a baby. My mom pulled me out of Puerto Rico when I was pretty close to a year, somewhere around 9 months to a year. I can say that I was already sitting up at the time. So somewhere between 6 or 9 months, I guess, is when they, if I remember correctly, is when a baby starts sitting up. So I was already sitting up, but I don't know much more than that. I just have a picture of me with my dad on the beach. It shows me sitting up. And my biological dad. So my mom took me out of Puerto Rico when I was very, very young. She moved out to California. She eventually met my stepfather. And with him, we did a little bit of moving. I've been in Maryland. I've been, well, the only one I can remember off the top of my head is Maryland, which does get snow. But I don't remember much about that. That was when I was really little. And the main place where I lived ended up being Ohio. Ohio also gets quite a bit of snow. So, I mean, some of the places that I remember living in Ohio that I really enjoyed living in Ohio. Well, I can say one in particular. We lived across the street from park, a park that I visited much later in life and determined that if I ever lived in that area again and had kids, I would not let my kids in the park. But when I was little, the park was fairly safe. It had, to my knowledge, I mean, I was in elementary school, so God knows what was going on that my little brain didn't realize. But they used to have programs there. They had a swimming pool that they would open in the summer. So they had programs, and we got to go and enjoy the programs. And in the summertime, and in the winter, we would get feet of snow. So not just 1 foot, but feet of snow. And so keep that in mind. When she divorced my stepfather, we went back to California, and for a while, well, we initially lived up north. I honestly don't remember much about Christmases up there, to be honest with you. There were other traumatic things going on at the time, and so I don't remember much about that up north. But then we moved down to the mountains above San Bernardino. Not Mount Shasta, but there's the Arrowhead up there, down in that area, San Bernardino. And that used to get snow. In fact, I remember one year the snow was so high that one of the guys we knew, we lived in a very small community at the time. You knew everybody. Everybody knew you. Everybody knew your business. It is not the type of community I would ever want to live in again, to be honest with you. I did not enjoy it. Did not enjoy it. But I remember that we had this guy, he had to be like, over 6 feet tall, 6'3", 6'4", something like that. And I remember one year that we got so much snow that when they plowed it and everything, he used to wear a beanie hat, with a little puff on the top of the hat. I saw him walk by, and all I could see was the puff. It was a wild place, I will tell you that. It was a different place to be up there. So Um, I'm used to snow. I'm used to a lot of snow. I'm used to great heaping swaths of snow. So when we moved, San Bernardino, I finally moved off the mountain. Down in the valley, didn't get so much snow. Not very often. Never. I don't recall ever seeing snow down in the valley, to be honest with you. Anyway, my second or third year here in Georgia, they got snow to them. But to me, I'm sitting there going, why is everybody freaking out? It's an inch. Because I'm used to feet. I mean, literally feet of snow. But down here in Georgia, half an inch to an inch shut things down. I mean, it was nuts to me. The whole city just stopped. People who had gone to work got stuck on the freeway because people didn't know how to drive in the snow and didn't have anything to help them drive in the snow. They didn't even have the right tires to drive in the snow. And for me, it just kind of blew my mind that people were just so freaked out down here about the snow. I get it now. I've been here for 10 years now. And almost any other time we have gotten snow, it has been the lightest dusting. The lightest of dustings. So I now understand people down here are not used to snow. They're just not. But it was still very strange to me that an inch of snow could literally shut down an entire city. Just done. People were done. People got sent home as quickly as possible. Businesses were shut that night and the next day. It was just wild to me. But I think that's also when the city realized that they had to change some things around there. And they got plows and they got salting equipment and things in case we ever got more snow. Which we did this week. And it still shut things down. But it wasn't nearly as bad. It wasn't nearly as bad. I noticed the night before here in our complex, they actually salted the drive through the complex. And I don't know about other places, but my daughter went to work. Today is Saturday, or it was Saturday. It's now very early Sunday morning. Because like I said, we are doing this at night. I think I finally got that, or I had to do that correction. I think I had that fixed. Finally got that covered. Today my daughter had to go in. My husband had to go. My husband went in for a half day and ended up doing even less than that. They actually tried to get him in and said something about him working until later that night, and he said nope. My daughter was actually a little upset about being called in today, or Saturday, yesterday. Um, we're in a state of emergency. I mean, in the back of my head, that's still very weird to me because it's like, it's only 4 inches of snow. But like I said, they're just not used to that down here. My husband was called in, but he told them he was leaving early because, much like me, I don't drive anymore. I pretty much don't trust myself to drive anymore at all. I mean, I still have my license, so if my husband were sick and I were required to take him to a hospital or something, I could do it. It'd be weird because I actually haven't driven a car for a few years now. I don't trust my eyesight. I can't read the signs well enough. And the lights from oncoming cars have always bothered my eyes. So I never wanted to be one of those little old ladies, those stereotypical little old ladies we used to see in the movies, driving their car, barely able to see above the steering wheel, and weaving their way at a very slow pace down the road. Never wanted to be that person. Never, ever. So when I started really struggling with my eyesight and having issues, the first thing I did was just drive during the day. And now when some of this I blame on an old optometrist. I don't think he got my prescription quite right. So for a few years, I haven't been driving during the day either. So I just stopped driving. My husband, on the other hand, is to the point where he doesn't feel comfortable driving at night. And on top of that, even though Atlanta, Georgia, the Atlanta area, doesn't typically get a lot of snow, it does get icy down here. So he doesn't want to drive at night, in particular, because he can't see very well anymore for night driving. He can see for day driving. And he doesn't trust the snow, the ice. He doesn't trust himself on the ice. It's just really dangerous. He is California born. He never lived in a snowy area like I did. So Georgia is his first experience in driving in snow. And he just doesn't want to mess with it at night. It's for him, it's just not a safe thing to do. And I get it. There's a funny light edge on these things. Where you think it should be darker, it actually has just a bright edge. So let's try to do a bright edge. Just a little bit of a bright edge. My daughter also, like I said, she went into work. And 20 minutes later, they said, go home. She was a little upset about having been taken in and then told to go home on Friday. And then on Saturday, I guess she worked a full shift, which irritated her because we're in a state of emergency down here. But honestly, because they prepared for it after the last big storm, again, I'm trying to have some grace for it, but at the same time, for me, it's just like, this is weird. But anyway, after the last big storm, they they learned their lessons, and I think a lot of the city was surprisingly open today, Saturday, yesterday. For me, it's a continuation because, yeah, I'm still up. Meanwhile, my middle daughter, for Friday, um, she has started working at Sephora. She's so very excited about that. But Friday, Sephora let their people go, or told them not to come in, but paid them time off for that time off. Today, people were to come in, but my daughter couldn't go in. She had to call out because where she lives is she's on a hill and it's very, very icy, and there just was no way she was going to get down that hill and go to work. I'm I'm excited. We will be redoing the veining when I get. Probably should do it as I go because we don't want a whole lot messed up, but we'll see what happens. I'm not seeing a lot of dirtiness on the page, so that's exciting. But it's starting to look good. Can't wait to get into the veining. Can't wait. But of course, we've got to finish things out. And I still have to play around with my greens. Still have to play around with the greens. Of course I do. I like the shimmer on the outer of the leaves, but I have to do something about the veining in the middle. I think it's a little, well, maybe not. The shimmer on the outside seems to be brighter, whereas the shimmer that I used for the actual veining doesn't seem to be that bad. I have to think about it. This is the next day. This is my second section. I do my art sessions in two different sections, I guess. And this is the second session, and our snow is melting away today. So yay, the snow is melting away. Although it did get extraordinarily, oddly hot today. It's just weird. I mean, the high that was reported that we were supposed to get, it feels like it got hotter than that. It really does. But yeah, there's patches left. There are patches left, but yeah, that snow is pretty much, so you can see it. That snow is pretty much gone for the most part. My son went out for a walk today, and he said it was icy. I am not surprised. A little concerned about my daughter getting home from work. I don't know when she left. But yeah, little concerned about that. I don't know what time it is. But hopefully she'll be home soon, and I can worry about her a little less. Hopefully. So I think we are almost near the end here for today. did want to note that if anyone's looking, I doubt anyone's looking. They weren't garnering any views, so I ended up just dropping the Sunday night stories entirely, and I deleted them, the videos. I said they just weren't, people obviously weren't interested, so I just decided I was just going to go ahead and remove them and just not push myself to do them. As I noted in my notes from home, they're just kind of sitting there and not doing anything. They still take effort and time, but people just don't seem to be at all interested. So I'm pretty happy with progress so far. You'll have to let me know what you think, but I'm going to go ahead and start thinking about editing the videos so it will be posted by Wednesday. And so that's it for the night. Hope you will do all the YouTube-y things. Let me know down below what you think, how we're doing. And kind of nervous about having to add all this. I'll be honest. We'll be adding the things soon, and I'm a little nervous about it. I mean, I've got a way to do it, but I'm nervous about it. At any rate, like I was saying, I hope you'll do all the YouTube-y things. Comment down below how you think it's going. I'm sure you're glad, as I am, that I'm no longer doing the greens, at least not much. I go up there and tweak now and then. And our bird is coming. I'm going to finish the flower. Yeah, the way the makeup works, I can't just move on and then go back up. Once I start, this needs to be done before I start the bird, because if I start working on the bird and then I do up here, the bird will smear. You don't spray things down in between in between what you're doing. You spray it down when you're done. So yeah, I need to make sure my flower is completely finished before I start on the bird. But the flower is going much more quickly than this did, at least right now. Okay, so for the third time, comment down below what you think is, how you think it's going. Like, share, subscribe, all the things. And we shall see you later. Bye.